mode with silly cats all over the globe right now, and I'm so happy. I have to contain myself. Amberly and Terry tonight joining us, and just 10 seconds ago, my son Charles Etienne gave blow a kiss to both of you, and how blissful this is that we're not physically uh, living next to each other, but we're connecting through the power of the web and of Hangouts. And so this will be a 15-minute conversation to listen to you, your story, build an infectious connection, as my friend Akim Novak would say, and allow the tribe to celebrate who you are and support you in your bigger dreams. And without any further, this is the time where I typically go like a bubblehead, and then when I go, okay, this is time for me to stop and just say thank you, like my coach would say, Johann, sometimes you just say thank you to people, so thank you, and so please introduce yourselves and let's start having a great conversation. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Johann. My name is Amberly Dibble, and I am Alaska Chick. This is Master Guide Terry Overly. We are Pioneer Outfitters, and we are located in Shoshana, Alaska. Shoshana was the site of the last historic gold rush, and at one time was the largest log cabin settlement in Alaska. And it's got a grand population of about an average of nine.
9 people?
We live in a fly-in area. Well, the population shifts, and that's the community I have spoken about, especially most recently for the fundraiser, Stand for the Man in Black, because during this, from the spring to the end of the fall, the community here swells to 30 to 35 people at times. About 3 miles away, the rest of the community lives. We call it the other end. They all have little parcels of land that they own inside the national park, and their families and friends come. But living here year-round, we have of elderly couples and another couple that's a young couple, and then our family team unit on this end of Shoshana lives here year-round.
Now, Amberly, before you go on, I do want to apologize for laughing when you said 9, and that's just me saying, wow, I wish I was one of these 9s, really, because the first settlement, you're getting the best gold nuggets in the world there. I think that they're getting an appreciation of life, living on your edges, and I wish more people were actually experiencing that. So, but I just want to say sorry for laughing. I don't want this to be construed as I think it's great. So that's what I meant. So sorry for
it is great. And that's,
yeah.
No, it is wonderful, and it is shocking to so many. And I mean, we can use it as shock value for what it is, but it's also truth. Yes. I mean, how many people today get to experience real community?
Yes.
I mean, other than my family, who, other than my children, nobody here is related. But they are my family. I mean, we all have our own homes and cabins and jobs and assignments, but we live as a family. We live as a very close community. It's quite honestly quite intimate, because you do know so much. It's not like working 9 to 5 and then you can go hang out with a whole separate group of people or go to the bar or your local and meet a different group of people. We're all the same group. You want to get past today's hours? Well, all right. Give me a little bit. Come on back over. I'll get you out a beer or an iced tea, and we'll play some dice or something. You know, it's how we live, and you grow to understand each other so deeply. You know, so much more. You have to rely on each other, and I think that today that's also another difficulty so many people have, because we are taught to fear each other. We are taught to live by a certain set of standards, and most of that standard by society, who's so busy and so rushed and so loud that we forget the beauty. And that's I love the way you mentioned that just a little bit ago. You and I are sitting together, the three of us are sitting together.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how big your screen is, but I have a mammoth screen in front of me. And I can't imagine your head being much bigger than it is on my screen, you know. And that is what the internet has brought to me. It's brought you into my life. It's brought Ann Jane into my life. I mean, daily, you're a part of my life.
Yes. Yeah.
It's brought so many people, and these people, you, Johann, and now your little boy, whom I've only heard of, not seen, but many people. Tavir, I don't even know how to say most of your names, quite honestly.
Tanvir, my buddy from Montreal there. Yeah.
Yes, from Montreal. I have learned so much from him.
Like Rob.
He is, yes. When I first got online, when I first brought Pioneer Outfitters online, some of the first people we met through the internet not only are my closest friends, closest to my heart, but one of them, Rob, and I'm not even going to try to say his name. Yeah, no, never mind. But he's one of our guides.
Yes.
He's not licensed guide yet, but he will be shortly. And he is an amazing human. He's from your area.
He lives in Alberta.
He lives actually now. But I mean, I've been changed so much. And I told one of your friends today, Dawn Weaver.
Yes.
Is that her name?
I know. I was so grateful to see you.
The internet is what saved my life. The internet, letting go, let things happen. I'm not going to take it in. It is not for me to judge you. It is not for me to judge what's happening. It's for me to walk the path I'm supposed to walk.
Yes.
To see the beauty in it. To learn whatever lessons you have to teach me. To share whatever it is I'm supposed to teach you. And to please try to make people understand that we are here. We are here for you. Just, you know, I mean,
I think there's a
one
lot.
of the generous, kind people on the planet.
Aww.
Come see us here.
That's so cute.
Oh, yes. Anyways,
well,
I want to share this with you so that when you go home, after I see the delay in the speech helps, because then I can just talk, because he's not making sound. I can see his lips moving, nothing's coming.
I can read lips, but I can't hear very well. So
our internet's
terrible.
terrible.
What you're saying, and then your voice comes over later.
Well, I think there's beauty. I mean, one word that you've used often to describe you and Terry and where you are originating from and where you are is beauty and walking your walk. I mean I've written this down I just get to collect the Silly Cat card, and when I do hangouts, then I start writing what you guys are saying, and so the word beauty resonates with people listening to us and with you, because that's the beauty that you express that's in you. You know, and before our hangout, we're talking about opening our spaces within, which is the inner spaciousness that we have. And I think what makes our lives unique is to get to experience more of your reality, of being in a community that's so resonant on the day-to-day that you have. And so I want to give the tribe leaders and just our global audience an opportunity to hear more about the man in black, because I will say this, and I said it before we launched into a hangout, is the minute I landed on your story, I went, oh my God. One of the things that I feel so privileged is when I meet people like you and Terry, and that I get to be exposed and uplifted by your story, which is unique. And when you're saying, you know, allow people to come in our community and experience that and guide them into becoming better leaders, that to me is a lot of richness of life, and where we naturally get stuck in cities and in our offices and some of the workplaces where the energy is blocked for whatever reason because we complicate things. But Shoshana, the man in black, like, I want to hear more about this, because I know I've experienced the gem on paper just from reading it, and now I'm opening a space for both of you to just, you know, convey what is resonating in you and what that story is all about.
Well, one thing that I wanted to add was that our community, when Ember was talking about the community and how we work here, our community, unlike people that live in town or even live in rural areas, you know, in the States and in Canada possibly, is that our community is sparse and far away. Like, we have a family that's 50 miles away from us, and they're similar to the way that we are. They have airplanes, and at one time they had horses. They're outfitters just like we are. And there's been times when they've had problems and troubles that we have been called on to go help them. Vice versa. You call on them, they come help us. There's another place that's 30, 40 miles, you know, to the south of us, over on the White River. And there have been times that we've been called on to help them. There's places that are like Ptarmigan Lake and Northway and different places that people have sent emergency messages, you know, to anyone that could help them, basically me, because I could get the messages, and I would take off in my airplane and I'd go anywhere to find them, and then spend the night, fly in the dark, do whatever. I had to rescue people numerous times with airplanes, little kids, women that were pregnant. Over on the White River, they were getting flooded out. My airplane was the only one, and I was the only one that could land in the spot that I had to land, and pull two girls out, two young ladies out now, and they had their children with them, and then fly them back 6 miles over across the other side of the river where their mother and father were, but they were feuding at the time, and so they couldn't really until everything went to pot. Well, then they were, you know, they were mad at each other, been all at once. Well, then I had to go help them, and so this is this is the community effort that goes on. And I get called all the time by the FAA, you know, to call, you know, and say there's been emergency signals heard over here, and so it just, and everyone does it. Everyone that's able to do that, and so this is the way that things were done, I think, years and years ago, not only in America, but in Canada as well. I mean, America is getting overpopulated, but Canada is, you know, kind of getting a little more of a population to it as well. So.
Don't you, my country, when you get on your America and Canada rants, you're not going to do it. Not.
See,
no.
See, this is why I love these. This is why I love these hangouts, because
no.
Yeah. Well, I think the common thread here is the spirit of giving and helping people when there's a need. And I was carefully listening to you, Terry, and Arizona Owen describes spirit as that moment of between two comments when you have a gem or a magic that happens, and I could picture myself not physically in a particular situation of rescue, but I could feel how precious people must have been with you, that they went like, thank God Terry's here. We are rescued, we're safe.
Let me tell you. Yeah, no, let me tell you, I've been in those positions. And that is exactly what you felt when you'd see that black airplane coming. Exactly what you feel. Because, and it doesn't matter, and there's very few places he couldn't land in the years I've been here. It didn't matter if he could land or not. As long as that airplane with him in it found me, I knew everything was going to be okay. And I could do what needed to be done. I've been in the airplane with him when he's been searching, and you can actually see that same thought go across perfect strangers' faces. You found me. And then you have to understand that when we're searching, times it's a long search, and you'll find him, and he'll fly over and he'll fly around, and it's obvious he's found you. You're standing on the ground, maybe you're hurt, maybe you're just stranded or afraid, or maybe you're cold and hungry, but you've seen the airplane. It's obvious it has seen you. A lot of times he'll dip his wings, he'll dive bomb. I mean, he makes it clear. Yeah, and that's when he can't land. But he makes it clear he sees you. Now imagine yourself being there, and the plane leaves.
We did that last year with that couple in the horse.
Yes. So the plane leaves, but what you don't understand, because you don't know who that is, you just know that someone knows where you are now. But what he's doing is he's coming back to get more fuel, and whatever it is, imagine that maybe you need to have right now to know that we're here, we're coming, somebody's coming, somebody knows where you're at, and he drops it like a parachute. And now you know someone's coming back. But what all of this has taught us is there is absolutely nothing like being able to be the hand that goes, I'll help you. I'll help you. Giving is easy. Giving is good, and it makes us feel good. The position he's been in these last months has been very hard. Yeah. Because now he can't be the one that rescues. People are in danger. Horses and animals could be in danger. I am a professional guide. He has a hard time letting me go do my job, as a matter of fact, without knowing that he could be there if he was needed. And it's no different than if it's me than if it was Rob. Knowing that he can't just fly over and check on Rob and his camp or his people. The people, you and your lady come up and go out with Rob, and you're across the river over there, and I'm back behind this creek back up on that mountain back there.
When Ethan wrecked his airplane on our airstrip,
yeah,
I flew him out the Northway, flew him into Toke, flew him back.
I remember. We were in the shop. We were in the shop, and we heard a plane coming in and went out, saw it fly around. Oh, it's Ethan. He's landing, because it was winter, and our airstrip's the only one that's maintained during the winter. And you know, gave him a couple minutes to come in on final, and we were just coming out of the shop, and we heard a terrible noise. And he missed the end of the airstrip and wrecked his plane right on our airstrip, right at the bottom. He actually somersaulted onto the airstrip. He missed the airstrip. But, I mean, he was an elderly man when he did that. Not a young man. And he had to be, and his wife was with him. I mean, they both were okay. I mean, they were hurt. They were bunged up. I mean, they just somersaulted their airplane about 100 yards. But we cleaned them up, settled them down, gave them some hot tea, brought them back out to the airstrip after we hauled the biggest pieces out of the way, put them in Terry's airplane, and he took them out so they could be taken to the hospital. Because they were elderly. And I don't know, it's what we do. We take care of people. It doesn't matter if they're our clients or...
Even Samantha, even though nothing was wrong.
Oh, stop.
No, I mean, even though
Yes.
nothing was wrong, she was anxious. Her anxiety was killing her.
Well, she was new. It would be like taking somebody from town and putting them here and saying, okay, this is how you do stuff, and then leaving them alone. She was.
Oh,
I mean, she had no idea what she was doing.
We so love your, both of you react to each other here. I'm just so happy to be observing how you are. But I think both of you, I can feel your love for one another and for how much of, you know, caring and ensuring that people are safe. And I think, yeah, and so, you know, that the hand that you're referring to, be a helping hand for others, and no matter where they are, no matter who they are, and that to me, I think there's a profound message there, which is, you know, when you're in a giving mode and when you're in a helping mode, it doesn't matter who the people are, you just are there for people, and I think that's a pretty powerful message. And so before we finish the hangout, I do want to say this to those of us in the tribe and out there, the global community that the HR Rockstars is reaching, that now Amberly and Terry need our help. And I'm not saying this lightly, because for those of you who know me, when I am supportive, I put my whole person out there. But I think, to me, what Amberly and Terry are offering is something that's just an act of pure kindness. And kindness, to me, is a free resource. So I want to offer you an opportunity to talk about the fundraiser and how we can support both of you. And you can count on my support and the HR Rockstars tribe support on the day-to-day until this objective is met and beyond. And we'll go to Shoshana to celebrate this in person when it's all done.
Yes.
And it's never going to be done. It's just going to be a start.
Yeah.
So how can we support you on the day-to-day? Where can we find you? Where do we go to support you?
Good question, huh? All right. Now, Stand for the Man in Black is our fundraiser. And I'm sure that you no longer can see me. Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Even when I have that other screen up?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. All right, I'm going to find you the information you need. Stand for the Man is the fundraiser I started for Terry to replace the airplane we lost to a fire in September of last year. Terry, will you tell them about what happened?
I had some hunters, a man and his wife and their son, that were 15 miles away. It was really snowy, had another guide over with them and a couple of people that were in camp, so everything was fine as far as safety goes. We're just getting low on groceries, and they needed a couple of things. His wife did, so I was going to fly back over here and pick them up. But the weather was really bad, and I wasn't sure I was going to even get here, but it turned out I could. But within 10 minutes after I landed, well, then I couldn't get back. It started snowing, and so it was a little cold, not really bad, but my airplane I needed to plug it in. Snow, and so we have electric heaters that we put underneath the airplane and plug it in. And I've done this for years and years and years and years. And so I plugged it in for a couple of days, just left the heater in, and the weather stayed bad. Okay, the next morning, well, then it was good weather, and the heater had not been in the airplane. And so one of the young fellows that was here said, well, I'll get the heater. It shouldn't take more than an hour, to warm the airplane up, because I had a big nose cover over and everything. I just want to make sure that it was going to get warm. And so they brought the heater over, put in the airplane, and then we went into the house and was sitting down, and we had breakfast there. And I was sitting there in the chair, and then the lights dimmed a little bit. The chair I was sitting in just kind of dimmed. And sometimes I'll do that if the generator is starting to run out of the ice up in the filter. And I said, well, what are we out of fuel? And they said, no,
Okay,
we
now
just
wait.
put fuel in it.
Now wait.
Okay.
Because I'm going to interject part of the other part of the story. Okay, I was not in that camp. I was here at the main lodge, in my own home, actually, because I was so sick. So when he went back to the house to get a bite to eat before they left, he called me. And I said, okay. I said, I'm going back to bed. I mean, I was very sick. He was just checking to make sure I'd be okay. He was headed back to camp, would be gone for 2 or 3 more days before I heard from him again. So I went upstairs to go to bed. And we do live out in the woods. And the guys do play with guns. And I say play, I shouldn't say it like that, but they do shoot a lot, targets and whatnot. But they also have a tendency to do it without any care of who's sleeping. So I listened to the gunshots going off numerous times, and I couldn't imagine what possessed the guys that were here to help maintain things while everybody was out in camp, what they were doing. And I was sick. So after listening to quite a bit of it, I came back downstairs and called the lodge, and I was getting ready to chew some butt. And I said, what is going on? And one of the new guys that was here, his exact words to me were, Terry's airplane just blew up. My life ended right there. My entire world collapsed right then. I mean, nothing else mattered whatsoever. It just ended everything we'd ever done with that one stupid sentence. And I dropped the phone. I ran out of the house. I was headed for the airstrip, and obviously not quite in my right mind, and I was screaming and hollering. And then I could hear Terry, and it didn't really register at first, but then I saw him, and he was running towards me. And I gave him a big hug, and I was like, what's going on? And the airplane's burning, and then it exploded, and I could hear it, and I could see it. And I looked over at the one guy that was with Terry, and I said, go get my camera. And both Terry and Caleb looked at me. They're like, what? And I was like, well, you're going to want pictures. Go get my camera. I said, I don't care. I said, you are worth 100 airplanes, even Cubby, even that magic airplane that can do absolutely anything. Who cares? It's a piece of machinery. The airplane, Terry's airplane, did not blow up the way it sounded to me. It burnt, sitting on the ground, more than likely for a very good reason, because he was about to leave, and nothing ever was wrong with that airplane. It was cared for better than we care for each other most times. It was our salvation. But that's what we believed.
Yeah.
The truth is, he's our salvation. The truth is, he's what matters. And obviously, since then, there is something we needed to understand, or we needed to remember. That's what this is. This is a message. You are worth so much more than an airplane. The airplane's just a tool. It's just a detail. It's the most important tool. It is our salvation in so many ways. But you know, I'd trade 100 of them.
Oh.
I mean, because
Yeah.
we always have. We've always had airplanes. They didn't always have airplanes.
Yeah.
This place was built without an airplane. This place was built without twice weekly mail planes. Dogs and community and teamwork and people caring about each other. That's how Pioneer Outfitters was built. The airplane made us soft. You know, the airplane made us forget what's really important. That airplane don't find people all on its own. He finds them.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that puts the fuel in the airplane, who brings in fuel, who puts it in the airplane, who goes and looks for the neighbor's dog because he cares. Not so much about the neighbor as he does the dog, but you know, I mean, he's got the airplane, he'll go find the dog. But that's what matters, is he will, and they all know it. He will. Flight service calls him when they can't have enough to really launch a search and rescue, because they know Terry will find what's doing this. He'll find them before we can go remove the remains. He'll find out if there's somebody alive instead of leaving them out there overnight scared and alone. You know, he'll find them because he won't stop. You know, and that's what Stand for the Man in Black is. It's me telling the world that he needs help now. Please stand with us. Show him what you've all shown me, that the world is an amazing place. I mean, we live in paradise.
Yes, you are.
But the people I have found, easy to think, oh, it's a big bad place out there. People are scary. People are bad. They'll do bad things to you. I haven't found that. Look who I'm surrounded by.
Exactly.
I'm surrounded by writers and artists,
Yes.
and kind and giving people and leaders from all over the world. That's who I've found. All smiling, all saying, "Hi, Amber, how you doing?" You know, or teasing me about bears or everything. I mean, that's what I found. People need to understand that. We need to show the rest of the world, people like him actually, how important these little doodads and computers really are for us. Because, you know, Canada, that's a drive away. I have friends in Australia who mean the world to me. Ali Pollan.
I know Ali.
Poland. Amina Gordon. She's been with us since we rebuilt the website. She's in France. Hoda, she's somewhere with lots of sand. I don't know.
We love you, Hoda.
Yeah. But you know what I mean. I mean, I've got friends And
Yes.
people I value every single day all over the world.
And so all the roads are going
How
to
amazing
be
is that?
pointing to Shoshana for a little while, because this is not just a worthy cause. This is about what makes a difference in life when people care for one another and when kindness is offered as a free resource. And so in the tribe, you're going to find more information about the Stand a Man in Black. And from this hangout, I'm going to make sure that people can find you, because all the roads are going to be pointing at you. So, Amber Lee and Terry, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, from us, Wild and Willy group and HR Rockstars, not ever scripted. I keep having people in Hangouts saying to me, "Your Hangouts are not good, Johann." And I keep saying to them, "Well, if I'm crazy, guess what? This means I'm on the right path." So you guys are just doing that as well. And I want to thank you. And you can count on me and the HR Rockstars tribe to support you. And as my coach would say, thank you.
Thank you for finding me. Thank you for always being there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Johann.
Thank you.
Well,
It means the world.
it means the world to you.
Makes me feel better here.
It's a terrible stress.
Yeah.
But it's a good world. It is a good world.
Yes, and
There are some amazing people everywhere you look.
absolutely. The world is a very, very small oyster. On
It
this
is.
note, I want to say thank you for being there, Amber Lee and Terry, and for inspiring us to connect with the deeper space that we have. Until next time in the HR Rockstars tribe. Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.